Hey everybody, this is Joshua Heston, Editor-in-Chief of State of the Ozarks. I'm down here in Eureka Springs at the UFO conference. It's Friday the 13th, and I'm here with Mike Knox. And Mike, you're originally from Tennessee.
Originally from Knoxville, yeah.
And you just told me you live in Minnesota?
I live about 35 miles north of Minneapolis, St. Paul, in a little town called Stacy.
And you're also retired from the Air Force?
I got out of the Air Force. I was also in the Navy.
Mm-hmm.
Enlisted in the Air Force, working radar. In the Navy, I was a main propulsion system on the ship.
And you are also a school teacher?
I'm a retired school teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I taught 5th grade for 29 years, and I subbed at the high school for 6.
And so what did you teach?
I taught everything. History,
mm-hmm.
science.
Mm-hmm.
History's my favorite. And then whenever they were good, I would promise to tell them stories.
Mm-hmm.
And if they, either that or I would sing for them, because I'm a blues singer. And I would either sing for them or I would tell them stories about UFOs from my experiences.
Now, you've already told me this story in terms of getting things started. Your first experience.
10 years old.
Mm-hmm. This was in Tennessee, right?
Tennessee,
mm-hmm.
Yep. There was some ruckus at the house,
mm-hmm.
and I was the oldest of 7.
Mm-hmm.
And I luckily had received a jungle hammock for a present
mm-hmm.
from my father. And I took the jungle hammock and a sleeping bag, and I went down to the woods, and I sat up in the woods on
mm-hmm.
2 trees, and I went to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And about 10 o'clock or so, I had a watch.
Mm-hmm.
I heard a very, very loud noise, a bang sound. Sorry about that.
That's right.
I heard a bang sound,
mm-hmm.
and then I saw very, very bright light
mm-hmm.
off in front of me, and I had to lean my head over to the left so I could see it, and it was up on top of a big maple tree about 60 yards from me.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, I went out there and I measured those distances several years ago mm-hmm. when I was down in Knoxville mm-hmm. and verified the distances. I looked at everything around the area so I could get a feel for what I was doing and where I was laying. But this light appeared above this maple tree, and it was way, way bigger than the top of the maple tree. The maple tree was still in full leaf, and I don't remember seeing clouds because I was so fixated on them, and it just sat there. There was this loud noise, and then the bright light, but the bright light stayed there. It didn't go away. Whatever it was, just sat there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm watching it, trying to figure out what it is, and I realized that there was something off to my left
mm-hmm.
looking at me, and I turned, and there's an old fence row about 30 yards away. There was a cow standing there. I knew it was a cow because of the big eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched it, and finally the cow and the very bright light disappeared. They were gone. I was very, very scared. I was disturbed, and at that point I didn't know why, except that it was so strange.
Mm-hmm.
And so I took off up the hill toward the house about 200 yards away. Mm-hmm. I'm beating on the door, wanting Mother to let me in. Mm-hmm. My mother came in and she said, "Mike, what's the matter, honey?" And I told her. Mm-hmm. She said, "Oh, you're just having a dream. It was just lightning and thunder, and it scared you, and maybe you had a nightmare."
Mm-hmm.
And she says, "Now I want you to go up and go to bed. It's 2:30 in the morning." Mm-hmm. And I did not remember that story until I was in my 30s, and I didn't really do anything about it until I was in my late 50s, early 60s. Mm-hmm. And I had a fella hypnotize me, and they went in a couple times, and that's what happened.